All right. Who you got for MVP this year? I know a lot of y'all just said Kyler Murray, and that's the title of today's video for a very good reason. But I actually feel like the hype on Murray this season is very well founded. And actually, when we look back at two previous second year quarterbacks, Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson, who both took home MVP in their second seasons, Kyler Murray looks like he could be the third guy in a row to do it. If you've seen my Instagram post before, you probably know by now that I'm a big Drew Lock guy, and I mean, hey, his lip syncing is off the charts. But no, seriously, I think Drew Lock is probably the main competition to this whole Kyler Murray thing. But hey, I'm not gonna discount Danny Dimes or Dwayne Haskins or maybe even Minshew Mania. I mean, look at that mustache. I'm sorry, that was so horrendous. So that'd be cool, yet still relevant to bring up my scouting report on Kyler Murray from a year ago and kind of where he stands to where he came out in college to where he projects going into year two. Now, Kyler Murray, I thought his best trait, and I took a lot of heat for this for whatever reason. I said it was his X factor. I said it's better than Baker Mayfield's, who came out of Oklahoma a year before. That it was better, and he actually could elevate a team's locker room, and he has this clutch and X factor ability that makes him very different in and outside of the pocket. Now, if you haven't watched my Jamal Adams film breakdown video, which if you haven't, please do, I show in that video how Daniel Jones and Dwayne Haskins struggle with these high-low concepts and have issues processing. And with Haskins, it was more he was forcing it. And with Jones, he just was hesitant. And with Murray, he's more of Dwayne Haskins, where he would force these high-low reads and just make some poor decisions. But I'm going to show that later on, obviously. Also, something that you will see is that his mechanics and his touch and deep ball accuracy is so beautiful. It is really, Kyler Murray has one of the best natural zips in the league. It's really something just fantastic to watch, and I'll be showing that throughout this video. But yeah, here are also just some notes I had on Kyler Murray from his original scouting report as well. Looking at this report, it's basically how I would grade his rookie season as well. All of these skills have pretty much translated. I talked about how I don't want him to get so flustered so often because he really is a special player in and outside of the pocket. He has no reason to be flustered. Hopefully that'll settle down in year two. In this last part of my original Murray report, I say overall Murray has star potential, but still needs to clean his game up in several areas. Getting Murray more snaps in a spread offense with lots of speed and playmakers would best suit him. And what do you know? The Cardinals hire Cliff Kingsbury. They now have the best spread offense in the NFL that's even more towards college than it is NFL style. And we're going to see that spread offense on full display here. Cardinals go 5 wide versus Steelers Tampa 2. And this is an example of either a poor play call by Cliff Kingsbury or just not giving Kyler Murray enough audible power at the line. This is not going to go well for the Cardinals running 3 out routes on the left versus Tampa 2. Everything is pretty much covered. There is no good option for Murray on this play. What I would have recommended is either he threw that quick out to Kirk or Fitzgerald, and that would have been a tight one, or he tries to look off Hayden and throw that go route on the right side. But either way, it wouldn't have been a good outcome for him. And you could see it's an easy interception for Joe Hayden. I'm sorry, Cardinal fans. This was just a really rough game. Cliff Kingsbury decides to call a variation of a China mesh concept. Reason I say variation is because normally the tight end would be where Johnson is, and Johnson would usually be in the backfield, and you wouldn't have that backside dig that Charles Clay is doing all the way on the left side. And this is just overall, again, a poor play call or just not giving Kyler Murray enough audible power at the line. But yeah, Kingsbury calls this China mesh concept versus the Steelers, who are running out of 3-4, cover 3 sky, and this is a horrible call. However, I highlighted Charles Clay's route in pink specifically just so you can watch him on this play. It's really the only option for Murray, unless if he quickly gets the ball out to either Fitzgerald or Max Williams quickly, but neither of those are going to be good options, and you're going to see this play leads to an easy interception for TJ Watt because he just simply doesn't see him. This play right here just bugged me a lot. The Cardinals are going to run PA shot out of pistol, and Kyler Murray has two wide open reads on this play. Now, the first one's going to be that deep in route at the top of your screen by Demir Bird. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. And Kirk at the bottom is just going to run off the corner of the go route. And Fitzgerald out of the slot is going to have an over. The Rams are going to be running Sam Blitz 3 out of nickel 3-3-5. And Murray just, this play bugged me so much. Murray steps back to pass after the fake. Fitzgerald is wide open, just doesn't lead the pass, doesn't see the defender. But on top of that, he should have been leading the pass anyway with some kind of anticipation. Not sure what he was doing there. And even if he didn't throw to Fitzgerald, he had Bird coming wide open on that in route for potentially an even bigger gain. Overall, this play just had me scratching my head. Classic rookie mistake. Remember how I talked about Lamar Jackson earlier? Well, this is from his rookie season in the playoffs versus the Chargers. And similar situation to where he doesn't lead the pass, doesn't throw with anticipation, throws really late. Ball placement is a little spotty. And Jackson had these growing pains in his first season. But when we go into his second season, you're going to see in this play versus the Dolphins, Jackson works off of his first read and actually throws to his second. So Kyler getting locked in on these first reads and not being able to work to his secondary and third options on plays is not extremely uncommon. This is something we see in a lot of rookie quarterbacks. And for guys like Lamar, and I mentioned earlier with Patrick Mahomes, these issues just kind of dissipate with a little bit of experience. If they don't, that's an issue. Now, I understand a few of you might be confused as to why I just spent 3 minutes bashing Kyler Murray on one subject. It's a very simple answer. This was really his only serious problem from his rookie season. Could he clean up his mechanics? Sure. Could he clean up his throwing motion? Sure. He can clean up other areas of his game, but this was the one glaring issue that I think was holding him back. In addition to Cliff Kingsbury, keep in mind, he was also a rookie head coach. He will make rookie mistakes himself. Coaches can do that as well. Cliff put Murray in the best position to succeed under the RPO and using his absurd athleticism. I can argue that the Cardinals pretty much won a lot of their games last year off of this concept in using his athleticism. And when I talk about athleticism, I'm talking more than his legs. Kyler Murray has an absolutely insane arm as well. I think it's one of the best in the league. However, let's talk a little bit here about Kyler Murray, the ball carrier. On this play, the Cardinals are going to run naked boot out of single back ace versus the Bengals, we're running Mike Blitz 0. On this play, all he's going to do is fake it to David Johnson, pull it, and try to run into the end zone. However, William Jackson and Jesse Bates both were actually recover very well. So this comes down to Kyler Murray as the ball carrier, and you see he just takes a jab inside, back out to break the contain, and heads for the pylon. Kyler Murray, the ball carrier, runs it in like a running back. I could argue that the Cardinals' 2 games versus the 49ers should have been won in their favor. They weren't. However, the Cardinals were extremely competitive and in those games because of the RPO, but he also just did some absurd things that I'll show in the second clip. In this first one, you're going to see the Cardinals, like I said, run an RPO, and they just torched the 49ers all afternoon on this concept, and it kept them in the game. This is exactly why you have a guy like Murray. A skill set like this at the quarterback position is very rare and doesn't come around often. This play right here may be the entire reason why I wanted to do this Kyler Murray video so badly. On this play, the Cardinals are just going to run a PA bootleg. But what you have to watch, I don't even have to draw anything up here. Just watch 3 players. Murray, Keyshawn Johnson, number 19, and watch Jaquiski Tart, number 29, on the 49ers. What happens on this play is ridiculous. Now watch as Murray rolls out to the right and pay attention to his head and eye movement along with the rest of his body. Murray has his entire body, for that matter, facing Charles Clay, making Tart to think he will throw it there. Murray contorts his entire body except for his head and shoulders that now move towards Johnson. Watch as his legs collapse underneath him for making this highly contorted throw with perfect placement for the touchdown. Murray's best game to me was against the Falcons, and his ball placement in this game was just unreal, and the plays he made were just so spectacular. This play to Trent Sherfield down the sideline, I'm not crazy about his mechanics and his base and how he winds it up, but the ball ends up perfect. Just on the outside where only Sherfield can get it. Very, very few QBs can make plays like this. I talked earlier in the video about Kyler Murray and his deep ball accuracy and how good it is, and you're going to see it on full display here on this post route to Damiere Byrd. And I mean, seriously, Murray's ability to work off base, come back, set his shoulders, and fire, not only to throw the ball 40 plus yards downfield, only where Byrd can get it above the safety. This is really just exciting stuff. I'm sorry, but Murray reminded me way too much of Michael Vick, and these are eerily similar plays. Vick works off the play action, steps up in the pocket, sets his shoulders, throws it over the safety, yet in between the other. Some stats here from PFF show that Kyler Murray was as prolific as I'm claiming him to be. They said Murray had the 6th best deep ball completion percentage at 44.3%. However, he did this even though supporting cast efficiency had a rating of negative 1.9, which was number 20 in the league. Must be a good thing that they're getting some help from Houston this offseason. In order for Kyler Murray to win MVP, something has to take place. The Cardinals have to throw the ball a lot. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Well, didn't you talk about how Cliff Kingsbury has a college-style offense, this, that, and the other? While that may be true, interesting stat of the day, the Cardinals were 5-4-1 when they rushed for over 100 yards and 0-6 when they did not. The Cardinals are simply better at running the ball, and they win more when they do. So it'll be interesting to see that balance between them letting Kyler go wild and balancing the run game. Now, while it is true Arizona led the league in 10 personnel usage, here's an interesting stat of the day. Another one. About 64.4% of Arizona's runs have been against boxes featuring 6 or fewer defenders, which leads the league by over 10%. The reason for this is because the Cardinals are spreading everybody out. They also do a lot of shotgun and pistol, which means that it's easier for guys like Kenyon Drake, who, interestingly enough, only played in 8 games with the Cardinals. So sample sizes could be a little bit off here, but altogether, I think we can agree that the 2020 season, as long as there is one, should be a very exciting season for Cardinal fans, and especially anyone may be placing bets on Murray to be the MVP of the 2020 NFL season. And if it's not this year, I guarantee he will win it at some point in his career. This is too talented of an individual to let his talent be wasted. Let's hope the Cardinals continue to build good talent around him and he stays healthy. And maybe DeAndre Hopkins could play some kind of role in that. I'd like to thank you guys for checking out today's video. Be sure to check out the links in the description down below. But until next time, see you.